Good? Good? No, put it right in front.
I don't want to block myself, you know.
As Kurt just did, it's literally his whole Well, Brad, congratulations on getting back into the UFC, another tough win out. So before we get into the emotions and everything, physically, how are you feeling after a fight like that?
Well, my hands hurt a little bit, but that's normally a good problem to have when your hands hurt a little bit after a fight. It means you were landing some hard shots, and props to Cody for eating them. But yeah, they sting a little bit. But besides that, I'm healthy and happy.
Well, Joe Rogan was saying that this was reminiscent of Griffin Bonnar, the first one. You know, just two guys just walking forward the whole time. So when you're in a fight like that, do you realize it in the moment? Like this is kind of something special people might be talking about.
Well, that's almost emotional. You know, I remember watching the first season of The Ultimate Fighter when I was 14 years old, just getting started in the sport. So to be making history and winning it for a second time, that comparison, you know, being made by someone like Joe Rogan, man, that's special. So that's awfully cool. But in the moment, I was like, man, he's pushing a pace, but I can push a pace too, and I can keep her going.
Were you surprised at how tough he was going forward? Because you hit, like in the third round, you closed his eye up, and it looked like you might finish him in there. Were you surprised that he managed to make it to the final bell?
Honestly, I was. Like I've seen Cody fade in fights, and then kind of let the loss happen. I wasn't necessarily expecting that, but when someone has done that once before, you know, history often repeats itself. But I say that, and now I'll just contradict myself and go, well, I wasn't necessarily surprised, because at the end of the day, this is his dream on the line. It's just not another fight. Cody's been on a win streak to get here, 2 first-round finishes in the house. You know, he's got some renewed confidence and a lot of reasons to keep fighting. So I wasn't surprised he didn't go away. But at the same time, I keep on getting criticism. Brad Katona doesn't finish fights. But look at the guys I'm freaking fighting, and look at the fights I'm putting on. It's a whole lot easier if they're nobody.
And Conor tweeted, and just like that, Team McGregor wins, tough bantamweight, like the tournament. So what's your message to him? I'm sure he's going to see this.
Oh man, it's cool. You know, like you can't help put a smile on your face. You know, I've been seeing Conor in the gym lately, and it seems like he has a big fight coming up, and it's exciting times for SBG. You know, don't doubt us. We never went anywhere.
And last one for me, how are you going to manage your career moving forward as compared to what you, coming off the last time you won the Ultimate Fighter? Are you going to make any changes in how you kind of navigate your career, or what would you like the rest of your year to look like?
Right now, my coach gave me some pretty clear instruction, which is soak this in just for a time. This is something special. You know, I'm usually the one, I've already texted some people, okay, what's the plan next? Like, how are we going to recover from this so we can perform again? But I'm kind of getting told to pull back a little bit, so I want to soak it in with some family. And in terms of managing my career going forward, you're in the UFC, you're going to be fighting killer after killer after killer. We were just talking about this in the back, and you know, when maybe you enter the UFC just coming off of a normal, you know, signing, you're kind of at the bottom climbing towards a title. We get to jump a little bit. We're at what we were calling base camp, you know, and we got Everest to climb. So we're going to be looking at the competition ahead and making a clear plan, and nothing left to chance now. We're going to cut through the competition.
Brad, right here in the front. Congratulations. You just said it was special. In the history of the sport, you're the only person who won this tournament twice now. What does that mean to you?
Everything and nothing. You know, this isn't the end goal. Winning it twice wasn't necessarily, it's another step on the way. Obviously, I'm going to be very proud of this, soak it in. But after that, this isn't the end goal. This is not what I want to just hang my hat on. It's going to be a very nice accolade that I can look back at the end of my career and be like, man, that is pretty cool. Probably the only person to ever do it, quite frankly. I can't foresee it happening again. And this isn't the end of the road, though. I'm eyeing that bantamweight title, and that's what we're working towards. That's where we're living every day, and it feels really good to be back. I've had a smile on my face all day. There was very little nerves. I'm at home here. This is where I should have been all along, and I think I proved that tonight.
During media day, Cody said that you were the most boring tape study that he's seen. You just had a fight of the year, Cam, one of the best fights I've ever seen. Do you think he's still calling you boring?
I don't think he's calling me boring anymore. I think he's pretty happy that I put on that fight. I gave him also a good showing. Hopefully he gets a contract as well. Like maybe there was bad blood. I never had a problem with Cody himself, besides he was a little grumpy in the house, I'd say. But man, he fought. I'd say he was the only guy besides myself who fought killers to get back into the house. He has win over Dotson. He fought Ray Borg. He fought UFC vets. He fought tooth and nail to get back. And so to meet him in the finale, you hope you see him get a contract. He has a family at home. He deserves it as well, and it means a lot thinking that is potentially one of the fights of the year. That's I like that. I didn't realize it. I'll need to watch it back.
Yeah, it was really good. I got just two more questions. You were in this weird predicament. You were on one team, then the other team. Seemed like there was a lot of bad blood between you and Michael Chandler. He was out here earlier. He picked Cody to win. He admitted that he was rooting for him. What's your response to that?
I saw him after the fight. I was like, do you have a problem with me, Mike? Like, what's up? And he's like, I don't have a problem with you. You just switched teams. I had to do that. I don't think he had to do that. I think it wasn't the classiest thing to do. Like, what, he thought that was going to give him a competitive edge? Really? You thought that was... It was just mean, it was just mean. It's another, I'd say, bully move by Team Chandler. But here we are, stand up to your bullies, and look what happens.
And my last question, historically, the coaches usually are part of the presentation. Conor wasn't here. Are you disappointed about that?
Not really. I'm surrounded by a fantastic team. I believe he's out there, training for a big fight. So, if Conor's either vacationing too much or he's not here because he's training. So he's going to get criticism either way because he's Conor McGregor.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Over to your right. I want to know. Obviously, you took your time coming back here now from the, from backstage. Have you had a chance to talk to Katie yet? And what did she think?
I think that the text I got was, "Wow, just wow, you're amazing," and I have some amazing people in my life, some great coaches. They stood by me through the bad times, we'll call them, and the family stood by me. Katie's family stood by me, she did. And it's just I have some very, very special people in my life, and I'm very fortunate to have that.
How hard was it? You get cut, then the pandemic comes along, there aren't fights, and then you've to work your way back through this very difficult route to leave your girlfriend, leave Ireland, and go do tough, which is a very demanding experience. How tough was everything for the last couple of years?
So how tough was tough? Well, it was tough. But honestly, the hardest part was before the show. It was January this year. I was on a 4-fight win streak. I captured a major world title. I defended it in, I think, fairly fantastic fashion, beating an 8-1, pro, whereas one loss was a no contest. He was an amateur world champion. And still that wasn't enough to get a contract from the UFC. All right, Ultimate Fighter comes up. Hey, I'll do it. I'll put my name in the mix. No, you can't do it. That was the hardest part. That was the lowest. Then all of a sudden I get the call to be on the show last minute. That was all the weight lifted off. All I ever asked for was the opportunity. Let me fail. Let me fail. Just let me play. Let me take a shot at it. Look what happens. I knew just give me some control. And you crack that door just a little bit open. You don't close me out. You just crack that door, I'm going to smash right through it.
Conor, obviously very complimentary of your coaches on social media afterwards. Talk to me a bit about the relationship that all you guys in the gym have with John, Dave, Tristan, everyone who's been involved in this journey.
Well, you just said right there, 3 men who've had major impacts in my career. I think I went over to SBG in 2018, And just like that, I was in tough 27. You know, I think the first fight John ever coached me for was the finale. That was the first fight, you know, and it's been quite a journey since. Right? Like, of course he's going to stand by you, but he stood by me through the. And when I say stand by, he coached me like the world champion I feel I can be from that moment forward. Everything I needed when I was then nobody. You know, I wasn't fighting for a year, and it's not like I'm paying gym fees during that time. You know, Dave coming along again only during the kind of, I'd say, dark period, fighting for little money against high-level opponents with no names and no clout, you know, and to have him, it's funny just thinking about it now. John coached me for the first time for my first tough finale, and this is the first time Dave's been in my corner, and it's for another tough finale. So, lastly, I have to say something about Tristan. You know, Tristan's been guiding my nutrition since 2018, and man, have we come along. This was the heaviest I was heading into a weight cut, and pretty well the smoothest weight cut I've ever had. So I'm so fueled. I'm so healthy. I think I looked healthy out there in the fight. I'm so grateful for the people I have behind me. And again, they were doing it when it wasn't all sunshines and rainbows.
Brad, you had told us at Media Day that, you know, this second stint kind of sucked, right? Like being in the house and all that. But now that you have the trophy, do you look at it fondly, or does it still suck? Has this changed the experience, the way you look at the tough season?
It doesn't change my experience at all. Being in the house still sucked, man. It was hard. It was hard. And even tonight, if I didn't win this fight tonight, that could have been my UFC dream gone. That's difficult. That's the weight of the world on your shoulders right there. You know, it wasn't just enough to go out there and perform. I had to win. If I didn't win, that was it. Everything I've done before, this road back, what was it for? It was to take a shot. Nothing's guaranteed, but man, it's been a hard road, and I think that's why my coach wants me to soak it in just for a moment.
Yeah. And lastly, which tough win was more fulfilling?
They were both very fulfilling, but they both felt so right. You know, I don't know how else to put into words besides unexpected. No, you know, expected. I just expected to be successful. That's where I was living every day. I like to live in the positive and focus on what happens when I win, not what happens when I lose. I'd rather be optimistic than pessimistic. So I just was dreaming. I extended my stay out here in Boston to spend some time with, you know, my family. Flew out and enjoy it, soak it in, have some plan, have some cannolis tomorrow. You know, really try to enjoy, because that's what I have control over is my view of the situation.
Brad, one more in the front right here. Was there any moment, like, because when you said, like, you were trying, like, you went on that win streak, you won a title, they still didn't get the contract. When you're out of the UFC, you're watching a fight, and you're like, how are these guys in the UFC and I'm not?
How was that time?
Did that moment ever happen? Like, you're watching a fight, and you're like, how are these guys there, and I can't even get a contract after winning a title?
It happened about every second Sunday when I was watching the UFC in the morning. I'd wake up, have some coffee with my girlfriend. We'd be watching the fights, and it's the meme where, you know, you're sitting back at the TV looking at these guys fighting. And there was one time I had a list of fighters on my phone of bantamweights the UFC should release and sign me. That's how bitter I was. It was a long list. It was a very long list. And I sent it to my manager. And he's like, yeah, we're not going to play that card. I was like, okay. You know, it was hard. Man, it sucked. But look at me now, and I'm so grateful to be here. And you know, all that's a distant memory, and I'm just very, like, that's not how you should operate. Sure. But man, I was at a low spot. Like, sure. I'd say January this year was the first time the thought of retirement ever crept in. Oh, wow. Wasn't there strongly, but it was the first time where it was like, should we talk about this? Because it's just not happening. And here we are.
Any names you want to share from that list?
No, I was being a better dick, you know? Like, no. Thank you, guys.